Iwasafa isizwe sabantu avula moya eninkokhelize wemaye ngiyakhala Wasafasa phela isizwe sinyama Iwasafa isizwe sabantu avula moya eninkokhelize wemaye wemolo
Yeah. Hello, wonderful viewers. How are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing okay. Welcome to the broadcast of today. It's always an exciting one to be here, you know? So in today's broadcast, we're going to talk about Singapore. The lessons to France and Burkina Faso. The plus and the minus, the do's and the don'ts, the pros and the cons. That is what we're going to talk about. But on the flip side of reality, we will have to dive into some other aspect, and probably we'll take this Singaporean story towards the end point of this program. So you stick with us to the end, or you jump over to the end, because most of our broadcasts, we usually put the most exciting parts by the end. All right? So now, we just wanted to start it up this way so you can see, or perhaps have a view of Singapore and what the program is all about. All right? Very good. So we are not going to take most of our time because we are running into the program right away, and we'll start it in the most dramatic way. We have to go with this particular one here that had to do with Ibrahim Traore and what he promised any corrupt official in Burkina Faso. You know, it just came up not quite long ago, but a bit recently. Traore warned. It's not he's joking. He warned. He made it clear to all corrupt officials in Burkina Faso that you will face jail time. It would have been life imprisonment, but he said 20 years in jail once you're a corrupt official and you are caught. That is the gauge. He has to put that in place to keep the people straight, you know, because in the DNA of the black man, it is encrypted in their DNA that they, as blacks, they love Vanity Fair, they love corruption, they love looting, they love stealing. So he has to put a meter to that. So, but this very video is not going to be a long one. That's why we had to make some introduction or perhaps some analysis. All right. So just listen to it. As usual, we get our feed from most of the content or information that flows online. So we filter it carefully and check it out to see how authentic or how true it is, because there is this censorship that is going on. The major media outlets or the major mass media outlet, they stifle information, and eventually they now had the understanding that information flows from other sources. So what did they do? They had to raise up their foot soldiers, their third party or their proxies. They raised them up to infiltrate the social media space and give counter narratives of things that are going on, genuine facts that are going on. We have spin doctors of the system trying to give a counter narrative. So to such spin doctors, we are here to put a peg to their wings. We need to clip their wings and call them to order, because they are so wicked doing these nasty, dirty jobs, you know. So let's roll this tape. Let us go there.
Prison will be your permanent home, says Ibrahim Traoré to corrupt officials. President Ibrahim Traoré is not playing games. In a bold move that's shaking the whole region, Traoré has declared full war against corruption, saying loud and clear, if you're caught stealing from the people, prison will be your permanent home. And he means it. 5 new courts and 2 high-security prisons are already being built. Not for rebels, not for enemies, but for corrupt government officials, businessmen, and anyone caught stealing from the nation. If you're found guilty of bribery, embezzlement, or misusing public money, you will serve 20 years in prison, no matter who you are. Even if it's me, said Traoré, if I'm found guilty, I'm ready to serve time too. He called corruption a silent killer, comparing it to a disease that eats a nation slowly until nothing is left. He warned all members of his government, there will be no second chances.
All right, you heard that. He warned all members of his government there will be no second chances given to you. That even him himself, if he's found guilty of corruption, the same prison that he brought out to be their second home will also be his own second home. So you see how transparent that young man is. But to the West, as usual, you know, they are Luciferian in their acts and their deeds. So what did they do? They had to look for a way to placate him with wrong information about him. They just put it out there because the usual African adage says, if you want to kill a dog, give that dog a bad name. So that is what the West is trying to do to Traoré. But they have failed, because we are here on the other side of reality. We thank the Most High for giving us a platform and perhaps also a voice and an unbroken spirit to stand firm in the storm, to say the truth the way we ought to say, or the way it is needed to be said, you know? All right. So the next one is this one. You all know who this dude is, this man. His name is called William Ruto, the rotten Ruto of Kenya. A seed born or made in corruption. Ruto should be the face of corruption in Africa. Ghana is the seat of saboteurs, while Nigeria is the official headquarters of wickedness. So, let's continue. You will hear what Traoré said to Ruto. But I need you all to pay close attention to this very video, because there is a side that I want to lay emphasis on, and we need to follow it carefully. Now we are diving into the esoteric aspects of this video. So let it play, and you will hear for yourself. Then we will now give you the analysis of the esoteric part of the video. Perhaps the video might play like twice. So after this first rule, the second rule, we'll now pause it and analyze it. So listen.
President Ruto What are you doing to Africa? At a time when our leaders are under fire, quite literally, you open our doors to AFRICOM. You welcome the same hands that have destabilized nations to discuss emerging technologies and civilian military cooperation. While Traoré bleeds, you roll out the red carpet for foreign generals. This isn't leadership, it's betrayal wrapped in diplomacy. The West never hosts us to protect us. They come to protect their interests on our soil. Kenya was meant to stand tall with Africa, not kneel as a launch pad for foreign command. So tell us, Mr. President, are you strengthening Africa or selling her piece by piece? President Ruto, what are you doing to Africa? At a time when our leaders are under fire, quite literally, you open our doors to Africa.
Now, let's stop the video here. That is Ruto on your screen. That is Langley in the middle, on the right side of Ruto. Now, can you all tell me, is the left hand of that man on your screen? What's his name again? Langley. Is his left hand visible? His left hand is not visible. And we are going to make it open here for you to see. You need to see it. Let's just zoom it in a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's just do it like this. I think this way is okay. So here it is. Now look at where the arrow is pointing to his left hand. Can you see that that left hand is not visible? That left hand is hidden. Perhaps, if not under his jacket, his military jacket, he used the cap, his cap, the military cap, to cover the hand. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? It is a coded message that is hidden in plain sight. That's why I said we'll go a bit esoteric into this one. Now, you know that in the scripture, when Moses was asking the Most High certain questions, the Most High now said, okay, for clarity purpose, put your hand inside your jacket or your clothes. He did that. And then said, bring it out. When he brought it out, that hand became leprous, white as snow. Then God now said, the Most High now said, put that same hand back the same way you did before and bring it out. When Moses now did it and brought it out, the hand became normal. So, that left hand part, you know, is called the left hand part. And it's a hand of darkness. A hand of darkness. Men that does such things like this are deadly. The men that do such things like this are even more powerful than the regular marine witchcraft. So it's not something that you can just look at. Let me big it up a little bit. Yeah, so this size should be okay. It's not something that you should look at with easy levity, you know. It's a direct message. In the occult world, they call this the left-hand order, the pact of the left-hand order. So that hand, usually, you get to notice them, they just shove it, they just hide it somehow or shove it into their clothes. Or they can use a mere tabloid, a mere newspaper to cover it. Anything at all. It's like those that gives the symbol of the all-seeing eye, you know, they have different ways of doing it. Some would do like this, some would do like this, some would do like this, you know. And you wouldn't connect the dots because it's a pyrotechnics that needs to be studied carefully. And you can only pick it out if you are awake. Because majority or perhaps majority of the people, they are fast asleep. You see people walk about every day. You think they are conscious. You think they are normal. You think they are humans. No. Many of them are just like jackals, either laughing or sleeping. But in the recess of consciousness, they are asleep. They are not awake. So this is just a coded message. And you see the way Ruto stood there like an idol. Ruto stood still. Is in reference, let me bring Ruto out because formerly he wasn't needed. He's just an Oko, and Aswanworo. Like we said before, if you're looking for the meaning of Okoko or Aswanworo, just Google it. Whatever Google tells you, well and good. But we are not coming here to translate anything for you. So now, look at Ruto. The way Ruto stood, is in complete subjection, in complete loyalty to the order. And the smile on the face of Ruto, it's nothing to be written home about. This is just a photo shoot, but the message is coming from Langley is that we are in control. Everything is in order. And Ruto is in line. At least he can be trusted. Ruto never gave a damn about anything. So for Traore to admonish him or caution him, Traore is like a man that is pouring water on a stone, a rock, and expecting that rock to grow. Ruto is a condemned bandit, an avowed occult man, a secret society man. That is what Ruto is. By extension, the president of Ghana also. In fact, all African presidents, they belong to different occult society, different sects, including witchcraft. That is where they all belong to. That is why they don't have conscience in them. No soul, no empathy, nothing. They care about no one apart from not even themselves. What they care about is the order that they belong to. They must comply to the order of the day where they belong to. So this is just a message that was shot out there for you to see in 4K, in full glare. It is not hidden. They call it hidden in plain sight. This one is pure and open. You, the viewer, you can research the order of the left hand. You can research it. Do some works on it. You will find it. Information is there. It's there. That's why they said we are living in a jet age, not even in a jet age now, in an AI age. Information superhighway, not just an information highway, information superhighway. And if you can't meet up in the information superhighway, how will you meet up when the information now moves beyond the highway to a supreme superhighway? How can you meet up? It is difficult for most people. And almost 95% or 97% of Africans, they will never understand this. To the West, that is even awake, maximum 90 or 85% of them will not understand it. But Africans, I doubt if 3%, maximum 3% will understand what's going on. Do you know why? Because the African man is an avowed buzu, an avowed bat, nama cow, cattle. They care about food only, no matter what you see from the black man. That's why an official can get into office, a woman, and purchase 123 houses, 123, including one. It's not among the 123 that she bought in Nigeria, including one in Manhattan, US, for $50 million. A Nigerian minister, watch our last program, you will see her there. $50 million she stole, money that she stole, $20 billion, 20, just one woman. And we had another Nigerian minister that spent $15 million every day for 10 days in the Bahamas, amounting to a total of $450 million in 10 days. That's why we have people like this. They are not humans. They are worse than reptiles. They are worse than reptiles. They are worse than the people that introduce them to occults. That's how heartless they are. That's why the occult chose them to carry out the works of darkness. Is there anything else that we can expect from such people? The answer is an emphatic no. A massive no. So, oh yeah, we are moving straight into the next one. The next one. What's the title of the next one? The West loses it. All right. And in this very video now, we're going to talk about how the West, they lost out.
I can imagine the situation.
Go down. How the West lost out. Because the center of our topic, or perhaps discussion today, is about Singapore. It's about Singapore. So, for this one on your screen here now, we need you to think deep about this. We need you to think deep about it. And let your eyes open. Share this broadcast, let it go far. You can even share it to, let it even get to the ones in charge of the Sahel, so that they will get to understand this particular, more especially this particular video about Ruto and this man standing like this. It's an oath. We got Africa in check. We'll nail Africa. We'll bring them back to the fold and put them on their knees permanently, perhaps for the next 100 years or the next 1,000 years. All right? So, for that reason, we are jumping into the next one. This is the next one. This one is just like 5 minutes. We are going to have a look at how, or perhaps what went down. Is just a brief roundup or summary from this particular channel, so that we get to understand what's on ground. Then we talk about it. So let's go there.
They went from realizing about $1 billion in uranium resources to over 300 billion a year. We need to look at what's happening in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. President Traore is standing up. He is saying the natural resources in Burkina Faso, they belong to the people of Burkina Faso. Niger is doing the same thing. Mali is doing the same thing. Every leader must look at what's happening in the Sahel nation.
Traore just delivered a devastating blow to the West and has cut off their access to one of their most exploited lifelines, Burkina Faso's gold. For decades, Western powers have reaped billions from African gold while leaving the people in poverty. But now, that pipeline is shut. For the first time in history, Burkina Faso has launched its own gold refinery, keeping the wealth at home and slamming the door on foreign profiteers. This isn't just a policy change, it's the announcement of economic war. And if other African nations follow Traore's lead, the West could be staring down a full-scale reckoning, one that threatens.
Now, in this war, this full-scale economic war, we must win it. No matter the amount of saboteurs within us, no matter the amount of sellouts within us, in the name of our elites and educated animals, we must win it. There is no two ways about it. You can hire all the most educated idiots from Africa, more especially from Nigeria, from Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, and even South Africa. You can hire them to script for you, to lie and lie. There is always an expiration date to every story, to everything under the heaven. There is an appointed time. According to the book of Ecclesiastes, they say there is an appointed time for everything under the sun. So no matter how hard you try to fester lies and foster it until it grows out of shape or size, one day the bubble will burst, and that is what is happening. Continue.
Global supply chains, rattles gold-backed banking systems, and shakes the very foundations of Western economic dominance.
Now, you know, why I had to stop it again is, you remember, they said Africa is poor. They need to help us, more especially France. We need to be there to help them. They can't help themselves. Who cares? You came to our land to learn education. You got educated. Everything that the West stands for today, or is standing for, they got it from us directly. Then they rewrote the script, and now they say, oh, we are poor, we can't feed, they need to help us, they need to send us NGO. You heard what the Dr. Arikana said, what she said. She said they went from making $1 billion a year as a nation to making over $300 billion a year. Now tell me, which NGO in the world can give you $100 billion? I'm not talking of 300 billion, just 100. Which NGO? Zero. After the Second World War of 1945, the money they used to build Europe, the entire money they used to build Europe came from Africa. If Africa, this is simple logic. If Africa has only 30% of the world's resources, why do you want to die in Africa? Why? If Africa is so poor, they smell, they stink, they have nothing to offer, why are you there trying to help them according to the way you said? If we have not been, or if we don't live in the Western world like this, we won't be able to give analysis introspectively of what's going on in the West. Because even in the West, they don't even see us as people. They see us as objects, as tools that they can use and dispose, you know. So it's something that we've seen the backside. If we are not even, we've not gone through the four walls of classroom in the diaspora or in the West, we won't understand anything. And even in the classroom there, we perform excellently, far more than their own in the classrooms. So we have seen it, and we know where the weaknesses are. But the problem is the motherland, the vast majority of the people there. This one is not there. It's very low. Even if they have it, it's very, very low. They are helping us, but they are stealing from us. It would have been a nice thing. We would have never had any need for these resources. You can take the resources and go, but give us an opportunity to be counted as humans. Let the roads be done. Let people have a good life. Now we are not having the good life. The roads are not done, nothing. Yet you pay insurgents, terrorists to keep killing us in the name of religion. Go to hell with your religion, both Islam and Christianity. Go to hell with it. Let us live a life first. We have the right to live a life. But these two religions, they kill us always, every single day. If I say no to Christianity, I'm dead. If I say no to Islam, I'm dead. Yet both gods or both deities from both religions, they offer us the same thing, the same heaven, where there will be peace, love, and we'll have many chichis around us. Many chichis, 7 chichis. And we become Don Chichi Capacino. Now, what we ask for is simple life, and we can't get it. Yet they are helping us. Continue.
Burkina Faso is not just digging up gold anymore. They're turning it into shiny bars right at home. It's a proud moment for the country and a big step toward calling the shots on their own economy. This move has brought chaos to the West as they never saw it coming.
Say they're influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? So Africans aren't capable of developing anything. Africans aren't capable of...
No, try to slow down. Don't worry, you watch this program so that it will add up to what you've got, They said Africa is not capable of anything. Everything that we are doing, we are learning from the West. Is it not from Russia? Is it not a shame to the West, led by America? Is it not a shame, a very big shame to them? They colonized the world. And yet their colonies didn't learn anything from them. Now what we are learning now, we are learning it from Russia. If you had us under chains for 400 fucking years, we are just communicating with Russia in less than 2 years. And we are this developed, we are growing with speed. Then your 400 years that you put us in chain is a waste. And it's an insult to you Westerners. When people are talking, the West, led by America, should shut up and keep quiet. Or perhaps go to bed and sleep. They have nothing to offer with their media. They have nothing. It's a shame. How can they say such nonsense when we know that the first university in the world, I think it's for Sankore or Sankore University, that should be in Timbuktu in the Sahel there. That is the first official university, learning center of the world in medieval times. The first iron smelting industry was in Ubo land. From ancient Idu, we had the first fire weapon, the first firearm, hundreds and thousands of years before the Fulanis came in. to destroy the northern kingdom of Ido in the present-day northern Nigeria, and took over Gobert and renamed it Sokoto, led by the Portuguese, because the Portuguese, after the Arabs, they were the next people that desecrated our land. Before the British now got an information of what's going on, the Anglo-Saxons, known as the British, that left the land of Germany, went to the Northern Isles, conquered Scotland, took over that land. Before we knew what was happening, Britain declared England, created a language called English for control. From there, you know the Germans, it is always in their blood. Go to someone's land, occupy it, teach them your culture, abolish their own. From there, England got a name. They started moving around the world. And they were able to conquer 99 countries that they colonized. England. And their eternal sabo footprint of betrayal is Ghana. They use Ghana to conquer virtually all of Africa. That's why today, Ghana, they are eternal sellouts, saboteurs. We don't have apology for that. This is ancient to do. If you don't like it, go to hell. Straight up. We don't care. You must change for us to revere you as someone or reference you as someone. Now they say everything we learn from Ghana, but they came to our land and we taught them everything they know. We even taught them how to wear clothes, because before the whites, they don't like wearing clothes. They don't like wearing clothes as you see them. Neanderthals everywhere. Now they said they came to help us. Look at the insult. In this age and time, when we are exporting doctors, top doctors across the world, yet we are learning from Russia. It's a shame to you people, more especially France.
Inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. That's what we're fighting against. And look at their speeches.
For years, Burkina Faso watched its gold and minerals leave the country like they were going on a vacation and bringing back barely any souvenirs. They did all the digging, but someone else got the treasure. Well, not anymore.
Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It said, and if you listen to Western media, they spend all their time lying. And look today, the AES, which is a model.
In a bold move, the country finally said, we're done playing middleman, and built its very own gold refinery. They've now got the tools to turn dusty rocks into shiny gold bars, all by themselves. That's what we call a serious glow-up.
That's starting to take shape. They can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication,
the new factory has already worked through 142 tons of mining leftovers and managed to squeeze out 93 kilograms of gold, 99% pure. Before this, they were selling gold for $300 an ounce. Now, a sparkling $1,200 an ounce. Talk about knowing your worth. This is a big win for Burkina Faso, said a government spokesperson at the refinery's grand opening, probably while standing next to a really shiny gold bar. For way too long, we just stood there watching our gold leave the country like it was catching a flight. Now we're keeping it right here, turning it into real value, real jobs, and real pride.
They managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines.
Traore, hold it right there, man, hold it. You see, Traore, you know, the love that we have for you, ancient to do. We know you're on the right path, but there are some little errors, some little mistakes. You can't be master of everything. So it's just a collaborative effort to exchange ideologies and what we know. Don't ever say that many young Africans, they don't even know their history. You are wrong on that point, Traore. Let this message, take it to Traore so that he will get to understand. If a young African doesn't know their history, Traore, where did that error come from? It came from the parents. It came from the home. It came from the fathers and the mothers. The things that don't know their worth as parents, as guardians, that should guide their word or their children in the light of the truth, but they would rather guide them on how to be corrupt and how to steal. That's why many of our elders today, they know nothing, absolutely nothing about their history, their true identity, their true origin. Traore, my brother and comrade, listen. Burkina Faso, in fact, the entire West Africa was won before this empires, conquests, kingdoms, colonies, and so on came up. Then the colonizers stepped in. Then before the final partitioning of Africa, and before they changed the name, Africa is the only continent that have had its name changed over and over again. If we count in the BC era or CE era, we'll get to find out that the name of the continent have changed more than 20 times till today. And the last one now is Africa. How and why have they kept on changing the name? Ask most of our parents or even grandfathers. They will tell, some of them will say, oh, Africa's original name is Arkebulan. Even the prophets, the seers, the pastors, they say God told them it's Arkebulan. So if our parents, prophets, most educated one, we say is Arkebulan, like Dr. Ante Diop, can bring out a useless thesis and have the entire black Americans believe in that rubbish, then Africans are mad people. Honestly speaking, they can't think. And the thesis of Dr. Ante Diop was approved by UNESCO. Say, yes, truly of a truth, your name is Arkebulan. Oh, foolish man, your name is truly Arkebulan. Now you are more lost than being lost before. That was what they had in mind when they approved the thesis of Dr. Ante Diop, and they called him a doctor. Perhaps he's Mr. Ante Diop. Antelope Diop. No apologies. So, if those ones, they don't even know their origin, their true history, how can their children know their history or where they are coming from? So you see, there is a big work to be done. A big work. We have to unearth everything and throw them away, then bring the real one. We have to bring back the original education system that we had before the West brought in their useless education pattern that we are going through today, where you have a doctor that doesn't even know, a doctor of history that doesn't even know his own history. All doctors of history in Africa, none of them knows their history. Their own original history, they don't. And yet they are black men educated. Once you see them come out, you see them, they raise their chest like this. And they start walking like Mr. Macho, Mr. Atlas. They start walking like Incredible Hulk, or Popeye, or Hootie the Blowfish. They start walking like TD Snakes every now and then like that. They think they are educated, but they don't know that they are educated fools, according to Coolio. Continue, my brother Traore.
As cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals.
And the result is instant impact. The new refinery has already created 100 direct jobs, not counting all the individuals who now have to look busy polishing gold. Plus, around 5,000 indirect jobs have popped up along the way, from truck drivers to mining support crews. It's like a gold rush, but with actual planning.
Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible.
For a country where many young people are still hunting for work, these aren't just numbers.
He's talking about what France did. Do you know why he's recanting France? Because France put the ironclad on their neck. We should be recanting. Even Britain, even America. And the worst of them all, when we remove Britain, remove Belgium, it's America. It is America. America have mastered an act of deception to the highest point. Whereby you feel that everything is good, but you will never ever see your chains. The chains they put on you is invincible, it's wireless. You can never ever see it. You will never ever perceive it. And how? They are using the Saxon techniques. Who are the Saxons? Who were they? The Germans, the Dutch. These people, they have an ultra intelligence. So that their ultra intelligence, you know, when something is ultra, is way bigger or higher than high. That's why they call it ultra. They are using an ultra intelligence. That's why they see themselves as super race. That is why Donald Trump is behaving the way he is behaving. Because original root of Donald Trump is from the land of the Saxons. He's a German. That is their mentality. But they forgot that there is an intelligence that is way higher than ultra intelligence. They forgot. And that intelligence can only be found in the true Idu. The true Idu seedlines that have the complete series of DNA. 9 series. We don't need to go through 18 years or 22 years of rigorous academic pursuit in order to know certain things. Do you know why you need to go 18 or 22 years in pursuit or pursuance of educational honors? It is the full or maximum incubating time of reprogramming the mind frame of an individual or an entity into perpetuity. And that is point blank. You can never ever escape it. The moment you are done with the educational system and you become an emeritus or a professor, you come out, you start thinking upside down. You are a complete programmed AI, robot, human robots, an android. Humanoid. That is what you are. You can't reason normally anymore. You are completely disconnected from the source of life, your root, your identity, your origin, your culture. You are now a humanoid. Through the educational system that offers you nothing. Then eventually you'll be like Professor Lumumba. Hey, they told us, they want us, they don't want us, they don't like us, they told us, they told us. Who told you? Who don't like you, Lumumba? Answer. Till today, they keep don't liking you. Like Michael Jackson. All I want to say is that they don't really care about. Who cares about what you are singing, Michael Jackson? After feeding from the serpent, you turn around to tell the serpent, oh, serpent, you are foolish. Why won't the serpent bite you? Have you forgotten the scripture says, whosoever that breaks the edge, the serpent shall bite. You have a pact with the serpent, and you don't expect the serpent to bite you. Are you crazy? Hillary Clinton said, you don't expect to keep a serpent at the back of your house and expect it to bite your neighbor only. The serpent must also bite you. You need to come out clean and do things that are honorable, not horrible. Continue, Traore.
Numbers on a chart. These are real opportunities and real paychecks. For years, locals in gold-rich towns like Gawa and Houndé watched truckloads of gold leave while they got mostly dust. But now, things are finally turning around. Thanks to the new gold refinery, communities are seeing real benefits, not just holes in the ground where the gold used to be. It's like finally getting a slice of the cake you've been baking for everyone else.
So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up.
Changing the game, Burkina style. Burkina Faso didn't just wake up one day and build a gold refinery for fun. People were fed up. Big mining companies were making billions, while locals got bad deals, damaged land, and very little in return.
So that's our fight as well. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like...
Now, this is the side that I wanted it to get to. And he's going to drop a very vital information here. And the moment he drops that information, then we'll still come back and break it down. But let me tell you what he wants to say. So you will have a prior understanding of what he said. He said his biggest mistake was spending most of his time listening to the RFI, Radio France Internationale. So now, that radio system, they use it to reprogram his mind. And later, he broke out from the chain. Just listening to him.
RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where those radio stations were shut down. But we would use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept what they wanted. It's their narrative.
So, the country stepped up. With a government-backed plan and its own refinery, Burkina Faso is now setting the rules, and this time they act.
Now, we are going to talk about that particular side so we can move over to the next phase. He said at a point, something clicked. That the radio station RFI, Radio France Internationale, that he was listening to was reprogramming his mind to adhere strictly to the ideology or the mentality of France, of the slave masters, the eternal slave masters, you know. So for that reason, he decided to pull out. That there are countries, that radio station has been banned and removed completely. They don't want to listen to any radio station coming from France or perhaps the West anymore. They shut it off from their airspace because it is reprogramming the mind of the citizens, changing their agenda to be against their own land. So they had to cut it off. So he himself, he had to stop that. Now, here is the solution to that one. If you want to know if you are being programmed or not, the best way to know is if there are certain programs or certain movies, musics that you are listening to, do yourself a favor, stay away from that particular thing for a minimum of 3 weeks. Don't listen to it anymore. Have nothing to do with it. If it's BBC or CNN or even Al Jazeera or Fox News or even the voice of Donald Trump that you like to hear or listen to every day, do yourself a big favor. Stop listening to them for 3 weeks. Engage your mind in something else. Focus your attention in something else. Discover who you are. Ask yourself critical questions. After 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 weeks, go back, switch on that television or that radio, listen to that news again. Listen to that voice, even if it's the voice of Donald Trump. Listen to it again. And you get to find that everything they are saying is total rubbish. Everything they are saying is disjointed. It has no meaning. You will be able to see through the line and you will see the lies in plain sight. Nobody will tell you. No prophet will tell you. Not even we, ancient do. We can't tell you. You will just see it. This is the key to break from the spell. Try it. I'm telling you people, it works. Try it. Just stay away for 3 weeks. Or even 4. Or even 2. Focus your mind. Not try to ask yourself, who am I? Or who are you? Try to understand your schematics, your build-up, your frequency. Understand it. Then go back and listen to that voice. Instantly you will hate them. That is the highest and the best way to self-liberation. You don't need Traore to do this for you. You don't. That's the simple truth. We are going to jump out from this particular one now. And we'll jump into this very one. This very one, we are going to talk about it. It's still like a continuation of the other one. So we'll look into it and let it roll a little bit. Then we'll come back. We're going to come back to tell you more about it. So we're going to give it, what's the title? Why Ibrahim Traore flipped leadership in action. We're going to give it a title now.
During official visit.
Go back. I need you all to pay attention to this very one, because there is a place that will stop and will analyze it properly for you to understand. So let's go there.
Almost a year after seizing power in a coup, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who had promised a return to...
The African nation of Burkina Faso has had another shakeup in its government because the military leader who took power in a coup...
Camarade Président Vladimir Poutine, Camarade Président Chef d'État Afrique.
Burkina Faso is making headlines and changing the game. Under President Ibrahim Traoré, the country has just done the unthinkable, replacing all Western construction workers with its own youth. Imagine a nation taking control of its destiny.
Now, let's stop this one here. He said Traoré has done it again. He decided to remove Western workers to replace with their own youth. There is a takeaway that I need to bring here. So we are diving into it, and you will see it. Their ministers took the shovel, mixing cement for workers. So if you are in office, you come out, be you a governor, be you a mayor, anything, they come out. It is a country that is eager to wake up and grow. Everyone is working hand in hand, building up their country together. It is not like Nigeria. The moment you don't need to be a senator, a minister, a mayor, or a governor. You know, you don't need to be that. Let's just say they make you a councillor of a ward, ordinary councillor, or a local government chairman, ordinary. You see them, they have security details, escorts with guns everywhere. We are not talking of the president. Now, if the president wants to come out, you will now see the entire country protecting the president. But this is a country that their minister is working. They had to lay off the foreign workers that came from maybe France, US, China. They put them off. Let their citizens work with their own hand to build their country. Niger recently kicked away, Niger and Mali kicked away the Chinese. Why? They said the Chinese, they don't treat their citizens well. They put them in a very difficult situation or condition while working for them. And they don't pay them nicely. They order the Chinese company to pack up and go. And they send them away. They were serious. They prioritize their citizens first. Can that happen in any other country, more especially in Nigeria? No. Now, can a country wake up their citizens and say, let us work together and build our nation? This one is for South Africa, because the South African citizens or youths or their people, they don't like working, they just like enjoyment. If the money runs out, they go out with the guns to rob you and continue flexing. They don't like working, but they have the strength to steal. So this is a country that should be a model for Africa. You see what's happened. Let's go there.
Building its future with local hands, local materials, and unstoppable pride. This isn't just about roads or buildings. It's a bold statement of sovereignty, self-reliance, and the power of grassroots innovation. Africa, are you watching? Because Burkina Faso is leading a revolution, and it's inspiring a whole continent to take charge of its own future. Stay tuned. You won't believe what's happening next. President Ibrahim Traoré, a figure admired for his unwavering patriotism and courageous leadership, has made it clear that Burkina Faso's sovereignty begins at home. In a recent speech, he emphasized that true independence is not just waving a flag or singing a national anthem, but controlling your economy, owning your...
No, true independence. Let me not even put South Africa here, because we understand the plight and the position of South Africa. Let's go to Nigeria as usual. True independence to Burna Boy is to dance and be girlfriend to Puff Daddy and have them shout, you, that, like that. They dance. Then you see the Nigerian girls walking like pelicans or peacock with their hands like this. That is true independence for Nigerians. True independence is for a man like very dark man thinking of how to go to Burkina Faso to sing and dance for Ibrahim Traoré, his younger brother. A man that you know you are far older than, maybe perhaps with 10 or 20 years. You want to go and dance for him. He's doing a great job. He's making you proud as a monkey that still has chain on your waist. You heard him. True independence is not singing and waving flag. It is about work. You have to work your ass out to build your country to become great.
Resources and building your infrastructure. When we build with our own hands, we build with dignity, Traoré declared. Our country's strength lies in our youth, our materials, and our labor. We do not need to outsource our future to foreign companies or laborers. We will pave our roads, build our cities, and craft our destiny ourselves. This philosophy is now transforming into tangible projects across the country, starting with the city of Bobo Dioulasso, where a remarkable sidewalk paving project is redefining what nation building looks like. The Bobo Dioulasso project, brick by brick, a nation reborn. This vision is not merely aspirational, it's materializing through tangible projects across Burkina Faso.
Let's stop this one here. We are stopping it here. Do you know why we have to stop it? This very one now, it's synchronized with what brought us out here today. This particular one. So, if we are going to take it for the last side. But let's have a quick look into this one. We'll come back to this one because we need to play this one and Singapore. We are going to play this particular one and the issue of Singapore. That's what we are going to do. So in the meanwhile,
and for our next story, we focus on Captain Ibrahim.
Wait. In the meanwhile, we are going to play this one, which is 5 minutes. Then we'll go back to that particular one. You understand? So, for this particular one, this one you see on your screen now, we are going to talk about this one straight away. Because we are at the point of where we need to be. So let's go there. And you will get to hear the rest of the story now for yourself.
Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso. And for our next story, we focus on Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso's military leader and the interim president since his 2022 coup. Since the takeover, Traoré has pushed to position himself as a symbol of Pan-Africa resistance, defying foreign influence, particularly that from the West in a turbulent Sahel region. The 37-year-old charismatic leader says he is determined to free his nation from the clutches of Western imperialism. With his message resonating with people in Africa, he has gained popularity across the continent and even beyond. After the 2022 coup, Traoré ditched the former colonial power France in favor of a strong alliance with Russia. But Traoré says that this bold stance has come at a cost. In the latest, the Burkina Faso leader says another plot against him has been foiled. Traoré has repeatedly claimed to be the target of sinister plots and assassination attempts. The latest one is from the 9th of June. Ibrahim Traoré warned that foreign powers are pressuring one member of the Alliance of Sahel States to betray the others. He said that foreign powers were pushing hard to fracture the regional bloc formed by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. He went on to denounce what he called were imperialist maneuvers targeting the AES unity. Calling for resilience, he added that the Sahel is no longer a zone of influence. Earlier, on the 21st of April, the Burkina Faso junta once again revealed it had foiled a major plot to overthrow Traoré. It said the plot was allegedly orchestrated by current and former soldiers based in Ivory Coast. The junta claimed the conspirators planned to attack the presidential palace and to sow chaos. The Ivory Coast denied any involvement, but the claims made by Burkina Faso's junta triggered tensions in the region. Now, less than 10 days before the alleged Ivory Coast plot, on the 12th of April, Traoré once again claimed to have survived a conspiracy involving at least 119 plotters, allegedly linked to the former junta leader, Lieutenant Colonel Doumbia. Now, the junta once again accused the conspirators of seeking to restore the pro-West government. In September of 2023, less than a year after seizing power, the Traoré government announced it had thwarted a coup attempt. The junta claimed the plotters included military officers and civilians, and that they were against Traoré over his anti-West policies, including expulsion of French troops. The government said that the participants of the coup plot had been arrested. Now, since the coup, Traoré's popularity has been fueled through social media, with many misleading posts intended to bolster his image. AI-generated videos of music stars like Rihanna, Beyoncé, R. Kelly, and Justin Bieber were seen immortalizing him through songs, while these global artists did nothing of this sort. The 2023 Russia-Africa Summit is what had put Traoré into the spotlight in Africa. In his speech in Moscow, he told African leaders to stop behaving like puppets who dance every time the imperialists pull the strings. This speech was heavily publicized by Russian media. But his popularity comes despite not fulfilling his pledge to quell the Islamic insurgency in Burkina Faso. His junta has also cracked down on dissent, media, and civil society. The country has no place for critics anymore. While his decisions, his anti-West rhetoric, and his antics have made him a hero for many, Ibrahim Traoré remains to be a lightning rod for controversy to several others.
So, we stop that one there. We've got what we needed to get, and you see the way they gave analysis about Traoré and everything. They made him look like a criminal. You know? They are experts at that. They are experts.
Almost a year.
These are the sites that we need to take care of, that we need to carefully and surgically remove from the light, so that everything will synchronize nicely. So this very video that we, perhaps this very image that we decided to bring up here now, this one is Gabon. This image on your screen about what Gabon did to European fishing bandits has something to do with Singapore and the transformation going on in Burkina Faso. So without taking much of our time, we are now at the final stage of this program. Let's read what's on your screen. It says Gabon ends 18-year fishing deal with European Union and European Union to reclaim marine sovereignty and ensure local communities benefit from resources. That's from their national resources. All right? Okay. We are going back to the year 1965, to be precise. 1965 was the year 1965 was the year, what's the name of this country? Malaysia. Malaysia drove away Singapore. That was on August 9th, 1965. They had to usher Singapore and show them the exit way. Get out, we don't need you. You people are surplus to requirements. And Singapore found themselves on a desert of nothing, no hope, nothing at all. Singapore rebuilt and became a strong nation. Remember that Singapore had no natural resources, very high unemployment, ethnic tensions, lack of a military, That is strong military, they don't even have. Then, dependency on Malaysia for water and trade. Everything was cut off and they were thrown out. They were shown the way out. So now, under their visionary leader, what's his name again? Lee Kuan Yew, or whatever. We don't care about his the pronunciation of his name. And his party, they started to do what? To remodel, to repackage, to work and build up the country. They had to set up anti-corruption and long-term planning. They set it up. Just as Traore is doing now. Maybe he has seen the model of Singapore. They said, okay, corrupt officials, you collect a gold medal of 20 years imprisonment if you're a corrupt official. Singapore had to set up all this. They had to kill the act of corruption first. Then they started rebuilding their nation gradually. As Singapore rebuilt their nation, what do they have? They had just the water and fish. So they had to think more of their maritime life, and in the process of using that just ordinary water and the fish that is around them to build Singapore, they build structures as Burkinabes are doing right now with their hand. They use their own hand to build up their cities. What did they do first? They had to invest in education. They built universities, higher institutions, colleges, high schools, you know. They built it. So they now made sure that every Singaporean got educated. They had nothing, no single resources. So while every Singaporean got educated in Singapore, this is a video here on your screen. Before we knew what was happening, from 1965, they became fully developed or partially fully developed in the 90s. So 60s, 70s, 80s. These people for over 30 years, they were seeing hell, nothing. No nation really cared about them. But when they now built up themselves as a hub of academic institution and learning, people from around the world started going to Singapore to learn. Singaporeans, they hardly traveled. Their passport now maintained the passport ranking. The Singaporean passport remained #1 for decades until recently. The Japanese passport took over. So if Singaporean passport goes to countries of the world visa-free, they go to like 150 countries. I'm just giving an instance. Outstanding 150 countries. Completely visa-free, not like visa on arrival, visa-free. So now, recently, Japan now took over with like 152, with just 2 nations ahead of them. And I'm sure that if Singapore does their homework well, they will be #1 again. Singaporeans don't travel. They have built their country. This is Singapore on your screen. Very beautiful, very serene, very peaceful. You don't hear of, oh, we are bringing terrorism. If you don't worship our God as a Muslim, we'll bomb your country. If you don't worship our God as a Christian, we'll bring Virgin Mary and the fire of Elijah from heaven to burn down your country. They don't have time for that rubbish. You don't go there and do that rubbish. They will show you. They will show you what it means to come out from suffering, from massive poverty. They will show you. So it takes a country to grow like this because they were disciplined. They had everything intact. You can't go to this country to sell religious ideology and tell them to come and put a mat and sit down under the sun and bow to pray. They won't listen to you. They won't. Singapore is a model of extreme civilization. Extreme. Look at how they build their country. They are even ahead of Malaysia that drove them out. They are far, far advanced and far, far better than Malaysia that has crude oil, palm oil, and every other thing. And the highest database of internet usage in Malaysia around the world. They don't have that thing, but they are #1 in the world. Singapore. From not a nation that was driven out. August 9th, 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia. Now look at Singapore today. What Burkina Faso is trying to do now is what they did. So why is it that as Burkina Faso is trying to do it now, all hell broke loose? France should be able to learn from Singapore. That's why I said this message is for France and Singapore and Burkina Faso. Malaysia is a role model. No, Singapore is a role model. France and Burkina Faso should learn from Singapore. Burkina Faso is learning fast, but France, as an avowed criminal nation that has got in their DNA encrypted with criminality and crime, looting and stealing, corruption and bribery, France will never do this. France can never sit down to look inside themselves and build up their nation. America can never sit down and look inward and build up their own. America is the father of all thieves, father of all principalities and dark powers. They will do brain drain. They will go to your country, take the best and build their country. America will not sit down to build their country. Never. Never. They will not do it. It's a convergence of nationals from all around the world that made America what it is today. But this is Singapore. They sat down. They looked inward. They rebuilt. Britain, I wouldn't be harsh on Britain when it comes to this level, because Britain colonized 99 countries of the world. Though they have their own bad sides, they are very wicked and ruthless, but they have humanity in them. Britain, many of the developments around the world, once they colonize your country, they build structures for you, they leave it and they go back home. The highest of the worst Britain can do is to ensure that somehow they get revenues from that country they colonized. Not like France. France doesn't do that. France will come with the weapons and kill you and keep robbing from you. Then America will come later and say, we are protecting you spirit-wise. So for that reason, you must pay your tithe, or else we'll send the real legion of hell against you. Britain wouldn't do that. They have their own secret movement. That's why they are able to control 99 countries of the world, including US, Canada, India, China. That was why Britain, as tiny as they were able to do that. Till today, Britain has nothing. They can look inward and see ways they can generate revenue or income. That's why Britain had the courage, the gut to pull away from the European Union through Brexit. Because they know their onions, they know their game. But nations like France, never. Those ones are avowed criminals. So France should learn from Singapore what made Singapore to thrive with no single natural resources. And look at how beautiful Singapore is. Very peaceful, very educated. This is what Traore is trying to model. Develop the mind of the Burkinabe people. No one will come and say, go and put on a bomb, a bodysuit to blow up yourself in the name of religion. They won't listen to you. They won't, because they know that they have a future to work and build. So if the world can learn from this model, I believe there will be no violence, no terrorism, no Islamic insurgents, no Christianity killing, no religious killing, no Islamic killing, nothing like that. Singapore should be a role model for the world to learn. All right? Gabon, trying to focus on their fishing now, should think about Singapore as a model, because this was what Singapore used to build up educational centers in their country. Today, look at where Singapore is. So we can do it. We can make it happen. But when we have too much educated idiots in Africa, forget it. Nothing will work. I'm telling you all the honest truth. That is the way it is.
Almost a year after seizing power in a coup, Captain Ibrahim Traore, who had promised a return to
the African nation of Burkina Faso, has had another shakeup.
This is Trevor Noah, a South African American now. He can always be there to talk any type of nonsense he wants to talk about. We don't care.
In its government, because the military leader who took power in a coup,
Camarade Président Vladimir Putin, Camarade Président Chef d'État Afrique.
Burkina Faso is making headlines and changing the game. Under President Ibrahim Traoré, the country has just done the unthinkable, replacing all Western construction workers with its own youth. Imagine a nation taking control of its destiny, building its future with local hands, local materials, and unstoppable pride. This isn't just about roads or buildings. It's a bold statement of sovereignty, self-reliance, and the power of grassroots innovation. Africa, are you watching? Because Burkina Faso is leading a revolution, and it's inspiring a whole continent to take charge of its own future. Stay tuned. You won't believe what's happening next. President Ibrahim Traoré, a figure admired for his unwavering patriotism and courageous leadership, has made it clear that Burkina Faso's sovereignty begins at home. In a recent speech, he emphasized that true independence is not just waving a flag or singing a national anthem, but controlling your economy, owning your resources, and building your infrastructure. When we build with our own hands, we build with dignity, Traoré declared. Our country's strength lies in our youth, our materials, and our labor. We do not need to outsource our future to foreign companies or laborers. We will pave our roads, build our cities, and craft our destiny ourselves. This philosophy is now transforming into tangible projects across the country, starting with the city of Bobo Dioulasso, where a remarkable sidewalk paving project is redefining what nation building looks like. The Bobo Dioulasso project, brick by brick, a nation reborn. This vision is not merely aspirational, it's materializing through tangible projects across Burkina Faso. One of the most prominent examples is the innovative sidewalk paving project in the city of Bobo Dioulasso. This endeavor exemplifies the nation's shift towards indigenous-led development and local resource utilization. In Bobo Dioulasso, the project involves mobilizing thousands of young Burkinabe men and women to produce and lay concrete bricks entirely sourced and manufactured within the country. Rather than importing foreign contractors or relying on multinational corporations, the government has prioritized local participation at every stage. Imagine bustling workshops where youths, many unemployed or marginalized, are trained to produce durable concrete blocks by hand. Sand, cement, and gravel are sourced locally, ensuring the entire process benefits the national economy. These bricks are then used to pave sidewalks, beautify streets, and transform neighborhoods. More than mere infrastructure, this initiative fosters dignity, ownership, and pride among citizens. As one young worker remarked, "We are not just laying bricks, we are building our future." Their work symbolizes a collective effort to craft a self-reliant and resilient nation. Economic and social impact. The impact of this grassroots-led construction extends beyond aesthetics. Economically, the project acts as a catalyst for industry growth. Local cement factories are experiencing increased demand, prompting expansion and job creation. Transport companies benefit from the movement of raw materials, while hardware stores see a boost in sales. Each paved sidewalk becomes a small but vital node in a broader economic network, supporting small artisans, suppliers, and service providers. Socially, the initiative is empowering a demographic that has historically faced high unemployment and marginalization: youths and women. Many young people transitioning from despair to hope are acquiring valuable skills in brickmaking, masonry, and construction. Women, previously excluded from such sectors, are earning steady incomes, challenging gender norms, and contributing meaningfully to community development. This transformation fosters a sense of collective ownership over local spaces. It nurtures civic pride, patriotism, and a shared belief that Burkina Faso can shape its destiny through its own efforts. Each sidewalk becomes a symbol of independence, each brick a testament to resilience and ingenuity, a symbol of sovereignty and pride. Beyond its tangible benefits, the project stands as a symbol of national sovereignty. President Traoré's rejection of foreign labor signifies a rejection of neo-colonial dependence. It is a statement that Burkina Faso can and will build its future with its own resources and its own people. In this context, each meticulously laid sidewalk becomes a flag of independence, each brick a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of Burkinabe youth. The city's public spaces are transforming into showcases of local craftsmanship, inspiring pride and patriotism, leadership in action, ministers, citizens, and collective effort. What sets this movement apart is the leadership style of President Traoré and his government. During official visits and public engagements, ministers...
Yeah, you see, I now have to put it side by side so that as you are seeing Singapore, you are seeing Burkina Faso, and this is how we are going to end up the program. As Burkina Faso is building with their own hands, constructing, this was what Singapore did. Today, look at Singapore, look at Burkina Faso. Do you think or do you believe that Burkina Faso could get, or they will get to this level of Singapore of today? If you believe so, then promote this video, share it. We are going to load up this video in 2 ways. One is through the regular YouTube handle of Ancient Edu and the private server that we use to upload. In any event that it goes off, then we'll be able to pull them back from that server and put them on a new YouTube page. Because we are cracking the veil of darkness for light to get into the motherland, so that there will be an awakening that will awaken people that love to sleep. Let them know that it's morning time. It's time to get busy and get serious. Forget about the seed of corruption. Think about what you can do with your hands. The Christians sing, my hands are blessed with the blessing of the Lord. Now, is your hands blessed with the blessings of the Lord, or your hand is blessed with the seed of corruption? Which one? If it's with the blessings of the Lord, then do us a favor and do yourself a favor by spreading this message, by getting busy with your hand, by building up a nation, a future that you want to see, not a future that would depend on Western handouts, on betrayal of selling out your own people. Every nation can become beautiful and even far more adorable, just as the city of Xinjiang in China in the 50s. It was a shithole. But today, go and look at it. Let us continue.
Don't merely observe, they actively participate. Prime Minister Rimalba Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo, for example, has been seen mixing mortar alongside workers, laying...
Now, let's stop there. That is their Prime Minister. He has been seen mixing cement along the roadside. A Prime Minister of a country. They are working together. We must build our country with our own hands. But America said they are terrorists. France said they are terrorists, that they cannot feed, they need help. So they must send weapons, guns and bullets. They gave their citizens money to destroy their country, and they collected money to burn down their country. That is why we say Africans should be ashamed of themselves. This is Ancient Edu. We don't care how you feel. All right? We will help you to wash the dirty linen in the public. Since at your age, you can't have sense to think. Most of you are our fathers, our grandparents, but yet you are you love vanity funfair. We'll wash the dirty linen, we don't care. We'll keep washing it until a change is established. Continue.
Bricks and demonstrating solidarity. Such hands-on involvement sends a powerful...
Besides, apart from that, how many Nigerian leaders can be seen outside working with the people to beautify the country or move it forward? None. That's their prime minister, equivalent to the president. Let's forget about Traore. He's just a military head. That's them. Even Traore is doing the same. How many in Nigeria will ever do such? The moment they pick one plastic from the ground and put it in a dustbin, it will be on Nigerian media for the next 6 months. Everyone will be praising him. But this is a nation that is working. How many international media can show this? Gravitas just came up. They didn't show any of these things. They just said from, Vantage First Post. They just said from one side, oh, the junta. That is India for you. Mad people everywhere. Continue.
Message. Nation building is a collective endeavor led from the front. Furthermore, citizens are encouraged to take responsibility for their urban environments. Grassroots organizations like Faso Mayabo meaning let's build together, have galvanized community participation. This movement emphasizes civic responsibility, collective effort, and patriotism. Local communities, artisans, and youth groups collaborate to maintain cleanliness, beautify spaces, and support infrastructure projects. The results are evident. Neighborhoods now feature wide, clean sidewalks, streets are more organized, and urban areas are transforming from dusty, disorganized spaces into vibrant, orderly environments. These changes foster a sense of pride and demonstrate that development rooted in local effort can be both effective and sustainable. Expanding the vision from cities to the nation. The success of the Bobo Dioulasso project has inspired a broader vision. President Traoré has announced plans to expand this model across other cities, Dori, Gaia, Tenkodogo, and beyond, embodying a nationwide movement towards self-reliance. The Faso Mayabo initiative aims to beautify urban centers and improve sanitation, accelerate local industry through brickmaking and construction, create thousands of jobs for youths and women, foster a culture of civic participation and pride, reduce dependence on foreign contractors and imported materials. This holistic approach underscores a core belief. Sustainable development must be rooted in local ownership and driven by the people's collective effort. By empowering local industries, training youth, and utilizing indigenous resources, Burkina Faso aims to build a resilient and self-sufficient economy, paving the way for a self-reliant future. President Traoré's policies are challenging the long-standing dependency on foreign contractors and imported materials. For decades, many African countries have relied on foreign expertise and resources to build basic infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, often at inflated costs and with little benefit to local economies. Burkina Faso's model counters this by sourcing all materials domestically, supporting local industries, and employing youth directly. The benefits are multi-layered: economic sovereignty, money remains within the country, fueling local businesses and industries.
You heard that one. All resources, all materials were sourced locally for the construction. Nigeria, we have all materials, but for the sake of corruption, we will go and import. Imagine a country like Nigeria importing grass to feed cattle, and they use several hundreds of millions of dollars to go to Brazil just to buy grass when the whole Nigeria is a forest. They had to import grass from Brazil to feed the cattle. Yet those cattle are still found in the farms of people, eating their crops. But they spend over hundreds of millions of dollars to import grass from Brazil, Nigeria. With all the forests in Nigeria, ordinary matches, Nigeria imports matches, ordinary matches. With all the industries that we have in Nigeria, white elephant projects. Look at Burkina Faso, sourcing materials locally. The money must stay in the country. We must get the materials because we have it in our land. Nigeria doesn't do that. At the end, one idiot will come out with $100 billion. And the country will dance and celebrate that idiot. Next thing, the pastors will come and anoint the idiot and bless the idiot and say that God blessed you. When the idiot stole the money of the people, of the nation. Like Alison Madueke, stealing over $20 billion. A woman, a female in Nigeria. Another female spending $150 million in 10 days. Each day, $15 million. Nigeria. And later we'll come out and say Burkina Faso, Omokri, Reno, Omokri, and Dejade Oju. Oh, Nigeria, Burkina Faso is a land of criminals. The Traoré is just lying. They are paying Nigerian social media content makers to promote his image. That is what Nigerian youths can say. And these men that are youths are in their 50s or 60s, but yet they are youths. Shameless nation. Don't wash our dirty linen in the public. We'll wash it, we'll wash it. There's nothing you can do about it. The more foolish you are, the more we keep exposing your backside in the public. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the emphatic end of today's broadcast. And so it is, and so shall it be, forever and ever. He say,
Safa pheli sizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe saba yamula mola ayinkokhelize wemaye wemodo Safa pheli sizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe saba yamula mola ayinkokhelize wemaye ngiyakhala Safa pheli sizwe simnyama iwasafa isizwe sabantu awamulaba ayinkokhelize wemaye wemodo